Bismillah, 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 Allahu Akbar.
It's a pleasure to introduce somebody who formed an organization at the same time as Young Muslims in 1984. Alhamdulillah, he's the founder of JIMAS. He has been active in community and personal development for the last 25 years. He's a chief executive of JIMAS as well. He's a fellow of Suffolk New College, chaplain for University Campus Suffolk and Suffolk New College, trustee of Ipswich Community Radio. He's also a trustee of Ipswich and Suffolk Council for Racial Equality, and a tutor for the Suffolk Interfaith Resource and member of the East of England Faith Agency. I'm sure there are many other things I can say about this man who had a vision, alhamdulillah, to help us to tread the earth gently. Please welcome to Living Islam our Sheikh Abu Muntasir Manwar Ali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillahi wahdahu wa salatu wa salam ala man la nabi ba'dahu. Nabiyyuna Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa anna ma'ahum ila yawmiddin. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh wa ba'd. All praise and glory and thanks belong to Allah. I begin in His name. I seek His help and guidance in all our affairs. We ask Allah to cleanse our hearts and purify our souls. We ask Allah Almighty to give us the full benefit of this session and to protect us from anything wrong or mistaken or unjust we might say and do. Those whom Allah guides, nobody can mislead them, and those whom He leaves to stray, absolutely nobody can guide them. I testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, the one who has no partners, and I also testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Allah's final messenger to all of humanity till the end of time. First, I would like to start with a small word of thanks, if I may, to the organizers, everyone who has had a hand in putting this event together, out of sheer gratitude and also because I am genuinely impressed. It's the first time I've been honored by ISB to come and present a talk, and I suppose partially, if not to a large extent, that's because of the terrible fondness Julie Siddiqui has of me, perhaps unjustifiably, but you may discover that's right or wrong as the talk proceeds. The topic I have been given to discuss for the next 40 minutes or so is on treading the earth gently. And I'm going to avoid talking about environments and trusts and responsibilities too much, but rather I would like to focus on how, as Muslims, we need to be deeply acquainted with the person of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because if anyone spoke with due care, with mercy, with compassion or justice, with the proper etiquettes of how to be on earth, it was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I suppose one of the reasons why we are organizing this talk at this event is to help ourselves be reminded of the fact that despite many of the facets of our religion which pertain to addressing the problems and removing harm and establishing justice or tackling oppression, at the end of the day it is all about walking the path of kindness and gentleness, because no one was more gentle in his approach and in his dealings than Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's about taking charge of ourselves, following the path of the Prophet. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum la yadurrukum man dalla idha ihtadaytum ila Allahi marji'ukum jami'a fayunabbi'ukum bima kuntum ta'malun. O you who believe, you have to take charge of your own selves. If you follow right guidance those who err cannot harm you. And that's the entire crux of today's presentation, inshallah. We want to follow right guidance. And there are many choices, and there are sometimes very attractive alternatives presented to us. Some are deeply mystical, some are philosophical, some are symbolic, almost impractical, but there are choices. And we choose to follow Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam because Allah has placed iman or faith in our hearts. And we are gifted by that, we are privileged by that, inshallah. So imagine a God without anger. Imagine he brings people without sin into a kingdom without judgment, teaching righteousness through prophets without a sword. That is not realistic. It's not reasonable. It's not an honest way to conceive of the faith of Islam, which is about justice and mercy. On the other hand, though, although we have to establish the right order and bring about goodness, and sometimes use force to dispel evil or resistance against goodness, the point remains, Allah loves humanity. Allah loves everyone. And there are those who are nearer to Him, those who are further away from Him. But every human being has dignity. Even the sinners and the criminals have a dignity because of being a human being. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. And that was lived out through proper way of conduct by Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah fashioned Adam alayhi salam with His own hands. He breathed His soul unto him. He put him in paradise, taught him the names of everything, and made the angels prostrate to him, and honored him by sending him first to earth by His decree. And we are all His descendants. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself taught Adam alayhi salam the words with which to seek His forgiveness. And he did so, and he was forgiven, thus eliminating the need to worry about original sin. And here we are human beings. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he mentioned, all human beings have dignity. All human beings are beloved of Allah. Why? Because we can think. We have the intellect, al-aql. We have intellect. So let's behave rationally and listen to what the Prophet said, peace be on him. He said, "An-nas ayalullah, ahibbahum ilallahi, arhamahum li'ayalihi." The people are the family or dependents of Allah. Truth must prevail, justice must be done, oppression must be fought against, but never with mercilessness, with crudeness, with horrible behavior. People are the children of Allah. Those dearest to Allah are the ones who treat His children kindly. That is walking or treading the earth softly with respect, not arrogantly, far less with maliciousness. It is with humility, with a sense of duty, because we owe it to Allah through gratitude that we treat each other properly, so that truth might become evident through the intellect Allah has given us and the hearts He has given us to perceive it. If you see a stranger hurt, you will do something to prevent that stranger from becoming hurt, unless we have a very good reason not to intervene. But we'll try to do something to support that person. In the same way, that shows that we have a clear understanding of a sense of duty to stop someone being wronged or someone being treated in a bad way. And this is something for which our society has no name. This duty has no name, far less a doctrine, unless, of course, you turn to Islam, the complete way of life. And you know what it is? Of course you know. It's called al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa-nahy anil munkar. To enjoin goodness, forbid evil. You won't find the equivalent of this anywhere else. Now, in the Quran, of course, you have the ayah. Most of us are familiar with that. It says, "Let there arise out of you a band of people inviting to all that is good. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْحَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ." They are the ones who are going to be successful. They are the successful people. So enjoining goodness, forbidding evil is a duty which we can connect with through ordinary living experiences. But it must be done in the proper way. And that is walking the earth or treading the earth gently, softly. If we look at the Quran, there are 7 places where this phrase is used. There are only 7 places in the Quran, 7 ayat, if you like, where it's mentioned with some explanation or detail about enjoining goodness, forbidding evil. And what shines through when we look at those 7 passages is that there are 7 golden precepts connected to this duty of enjoining goodness, forbidding evil. My proposition to myself and to you, inshallah, and I'm sure some of you know more better than I do, is that when we comply with and try to follow those 7 golden rules in enjoining goodness, forbidding evil, this religion of justice and mercy becomes something with which we walk softly on the earth. As a nice person, not making trouble, not causing corruption, not putting people off, far less creating hatred and enmity.